Okay, so I posted this yesterday on our Facebook page. I had calls to cancel 2 subscriptions for things we were paying for yesterday. These are things we've been paying for from around about 9 to 12 months, both of them. Totally different markets, totally different kind of services. Not actually membership sites, but recurring monthly payments, recurring monthly subscriptions. And I cancelled them at the same time. We're going away traveling next month. We're over in the Philippines for Chris Tucker's Tropical Think Tank event. And then we're flying to the US for Social Media Marketing World and a little bit of downtime over there. So that prompted me to want to cancel subscriptions, just because I'm taking care of things like not wanting like subscription boxes, which was one of the products, not wanting that to arrive while we're away. So that kind of triggered me. That was the only reason I was cancelling this stuff at the same time yesterday. And the difference in the cancellation process and how easy it was just worlds apart. So it's kind of the tale of two subscriptions. So I want to share with you what set them apart and what the big mistake one of them made was compared to the other. So one of the services, I logged in, I want to cancel, I went to my account, into billing, and right there was the option to cancel my account and downgrade it to a free account from a paid subscription. I clicked on it, instant confirmation that had taken place, and they also, totally unexpectedly, credited back a pro rata refund straight at my PayPal account that was there within minutes of me cancelling. So they made it nice and easy. I was cancelled within a minute or two. I had that pro rata refund, which was a nice little surprise. And I was done. That whole process was done. I was happy with it. And I was quite pleased with the company for making it as easy as they did. The second thing I went to cancel wasn't quite as straightforward. So I went to the website. There was no mention of how to cancel the subscription. I dug through endless menus and endless pages, finally came to a screen that said if you'd like to cancel your subscription, you need to contact our customer support team. Now, I don't love that, but I understand why people do it, because sometimes you want to have that little dialogue to give you the opportunity to fix a problem and possibly try and turn things around. So I clicked on their link to contact customer support, expecting to find a live chat or an email or a phone number. And I was taken to a help desk, a self-service help desk, where after about 10 to 15 minutes of wading through all the different screens that they have, none of which actually tell you straight A, how to cancel, or B, how in the hell to contact their customer support team. Wading through all those pages, trying every possible search term for their help desk software to see if I could find something that would tell me how to cancel. Eventually rooted out some contact information and had to email and then bounce back and forth, and then made me jump through hoops. I sent an email, they replied hours later and made me fill in a cancellation request form, and I had to hunt out all this in, and it was just a pain in the backside. So it's a tale of two subscriptions. One, that made it easy, instant, effortless, and surprisingly a positive experience to cancel. The other made me jump through hoops, really frustrated me, really annoyed me, got my back up and made this process a one which took several hours, lots of back and forth, lots of messing around and wasting of my time. The big thing you need to keep in mind when it comes to member retention is that your retention strategy needs to be more sophisticated than simply hiding the cancellation button. And yet so many people do this. It's lazy. It is the laziest thing in the world. People think that the way to keep members subscribed and to keep them paying month on month is to lock the doors, is to make it as hard as possible for them to leave. I don't know how their brains work. Perhaps they think that if they make it difficult and if they put all these hoops in place that people would have to jump through if they want to cancel, then perhaps they'll just give up. Perhaps they're just going to frustrate them into submission, and that's how you keep members. It doesn't work like that. When somebody is hunting for the exit, it's too late. You've already lost them. Your member retention strategy needs to be more sophisticated than hiding the cancel button. Focus on making the decision to cancel difficult, not the process. People shouldn't want to cancel. It should be the last thing in the world they want to do. They want to be just really highly engaged, really happy, really positively using your website. Focus on that stuff. Focus on making cancellation the last thing in the world that people will want to even look into or consider, rather than relying on really kind of shady is possibly pushing it, but really dumb strategies like not putting any contact information on if you tell people that when they want to cancel, they need to contact you, and then making it so that they can't contact you. It's so bizarre. Lazy, lazy, lazy. Make the decision to cancel difficult, not the process. And I think this comes from a place where people look at cancellations incorrectly. They look at a cancellation as a big negative, and don't get me wrong, we hate it when people leave our membership site, and believe me, some people do leave our membership site. And everyone we've worked with who run membership sites, our own members, they hate it when people cancel. Of course you do. But you can't take it personally, and you can't take it as a negative reflection on your site. Somebody leaving your site doesn't mean that they think your site is bad, that they don't think they're getting value for money, that they haven't enjoyed their time. Sure, some people leaving, that's the case. But the majority of cases, people will leave for reasons completely unrelated to the quality of what you're putting out, to the experience that they've had. People leave for positive reasons. It may well be that actually somebody's achieved the goal that they joined your membership to achieve. That should be celebrated. That's a good thing. Now, of course, that gives you opportunities to try and find other ways of serving them. But if someone cancels because your membership site, for example, let's say you were operating a weight loss membership site, if your membership site has helped them lose the weight they want to lose, then surely that's a good thing, right? So you can't take that personally. You can't take any cancellation or the loss of members as a negative reflection on you. Now, if every single member you bring in leaves in the first month, then you want to look into that, obviously. You need to focus on what's going wrong in that process. But you shouldn't preempt or proactively treat cancellations with hostility and treat them as something which need to be made as difficult as possible, barring the doors, punishing people for the fact that they may at some point want to leave your membership site. Okay, people will leave for all sorts of reasons. It may be that the timing just wasn't right for them. It may be that, they could be in the armed forces, or they could have just got a new job, which is basically going to mean that maybe they're getting deployed for a few months, or in a new job, perhaps they're just not going to have the bandwidth, the time, and the attention to give to your site. So that sort of stuff, you don't want to burn your bridges with your outgoing members, because if they're leaving your site, but they aren't doing so because they haven't enjoyed their time, they haven't got value, they don't like what you're putting out, they're doing it for reasons that are beyond your control, beyond their control, then chances are they might return sometime in the future. At least 15% to 20% of the people who leave our membership site ultimately come back. And that's because people leave for all sorts of reasons. Maybe the timing just wasn't right. Maybe they were going through a period where funds were tight, and so they needed to tighten the belt for a few months. You see this a lot around the Christmas period. If you make the process to leave difficult, you're going to burn your bridges, and you're going to blow the chance that those people leaving your site could come back sometime in the future. So you see this, how many times you tried to cancel a cable subscription or a cell phone subscription, and you have to call up You have to go through this whole rigmarole. You've basically got to justify the idea that you want to leave. Maybe you can't leave without some sort of penalty. Does that make you feel good? Or does that make you feel bad? Does that make you more likely to want to do business with that company again in the future? Are you going to recommend them to people, or are you going to speak negatively about them? Don't burn your bridges with your outgoing members. One of the easiest ways of putting people off for life is making that experience of leaving your membership a painful and a problematic one, because that's what they'll remember. If they're leaving for something that has nothing to do with their experience of your site, they'll either come back or they'll at the very least think positively about your membership, and that's going to affect how they talk about your community, whether they recommend to other people. You will blow that if you make it difficult for people to leave, if you punish them for cancelling. So that's my little bit of a rant inspired by those 2 subscriptions that I had to cancel yesterday. As I mentioned, they weren't actually membership sites, but they were recurring monthly billing subscriptions, and where you would have the expectation that there'd be some form of self-service, that they wouldn't make this process painful and difficult. One of them got it absolutely right. One of them got it absolutely wrong. Which of those am I more likely to rejoin in the future and to recommend other people do the same? That's it from me. That's my rant. That's my ramble over. Hopefully, those of you who have been watching along have found it useful. Hopefully, it's been an interesting topic for you. We talk about retention quite a lot over at themembershipguys.com on the blog and in the podcast. And of course, if you're not there already, be sure to check out our free Facebook group for membership site owners, talkmemberships.com. And as always, we do our best stuff inside membersiteacademy.com. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for indulging me this little rant. Hopefully it's been worth your time. Hopefully it's been interesting. I'll give you a little bit of food for thought on how you handle retention and how you approach member cancellations in your own site. That's it from me. Catch you guys soon.